All right, what the hell is up, yo? It's your boy Cuban Mike. You listen to the Ruckus podcast in collaboration with the Tape Deck. And tonight, before I introduce this fine gentleman, I know everybody been on me, to get back on my hip hop tip. And trust me, I got some dope artists coming through, spitting some crazy bars, coming up with phenomenal voices. They just gonna bring it because that's what they do when it comes to the Tape Deck. But before I bring these phenomenal artists coming up in the next few months, I can't get it off my system. Anytime when it comes to the cool stuff, I have to drop gems on it. Um, I've been nominated, what I mean, for best radio DJ of the year, man. So I'm honored for that. There's a whole bunch of categories I got nominated for, man. So it's an honor, it's a blessing. I'm getting support from all y'all. Um, this fine gentleman who I just spoke to for a couple of minutes, man. We were chopping up some good game behind the scenes. He's gone viral. And if you can check it out, man, the video that he did, he went in on Jemele Hill because she was talking some nonsense about the Cuban community, and my brother just went in. And not only was I happy that he went in, I was happy that he was a black Cuban coming in because every time you hear the story about Cuba, and I know I sound like a broken record, this misconception, there's only like white Cubans that are privileged in Miami that are going through that struggle, not knowing that. Oh, probably they do know. I'm coming to the conclusion that they do know, but they don't care, especially with the fuckery I saw last week with the whole communist fools going to I'm going to Cuba, giving out quote unquote humanitarian aid. My man went in, he went viral. I've been trying to catch him on these TikTok streets. I caught him. We had a good conversation for a good 5 minutes. Yo, I got a podcast. It's in Boston. I got a radio station. It's in Boston also. I try to bring anything involving Cuba. He said, no doubt. And this is what I talk about when you talk about good communication, good contact. And when we just go in, man. So I got my man Mac in the building. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, my brother?
Uh,
Thank
First
you
and
for having me
foremost,
on the show.
yeah, no problem, no problem. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule. Um,
Hey, I'm parked right now. I'm an over the road trucker, but it's all good, bro. I'm
all
in
right, so I won't
Louisiana
take too
right
much of your
now, but
time, man, because I know you gotta get that bread.
no, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. I'm parked
Okay,
for the night.
all right. So, um, you went viral last week. So what took the courage to get up for you and viral and say, you know what? I'm gonna go in this on this lady right here because she's talking a whole bunch of nonsense and she don't know what the hell she's talking about.
I found her comment very offensive and disingenuous. All right,
Hmm.
when she said she was talking a lot, it all stemmed from the Jasmine Crockett incident, why she lost in Texas and so on. Then she mentioned Latinos didn't vote for her. Of course not. She alienated that whole base. But then she went in on the Cubans, talking about making it sound like we're dumb and shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but
Yeah, fuck it, we're in the pocket. We're
and
going in, baby.
I took offense to that. I really took offense. Matter of fact, when I did that video, like you said, it started to go viral. TikTok gave me a strike. TikTok banned the video,
Really?
said harassment and yes, they took it down. If you look at my timeline, TikTok took it down and
Oh,
hit me with a violation for harassment and bullying because I told the truth about the black community. I mean, someone had to say it. Someone had to say it, and that day it just was something that boiled in my blood. Me cogió la sangre. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And I'm like, wait a minute, man. She's like, oh, all they gotta say Donald Trump. No, it's not even that. We know what communism is. We know what dictatorship is. Like, our parents have fled the island
Yeah.
to give us a better life because I'm first generation American.
Hmm.
I'm an American citizen by one day.
Yeah.
My parents left Cuba April 19, 1996 on the freedom flights, and I was born in Jackson Memorial Hospital, Miami, the next day.
Wow.
But I've stayed true to my heritage.
Yeah.
Mind you, when all I knew was Spanish, my parents didn't speak no English when they came to this country. My
Yeah.
mom watched Sesame Street with us growing up. That's
Hmm.
how my mom learned English.
Yeah.
My father was a truck driver, you know, and in the Bronx, New York at the time, and I grew up in a jump seat of a truck, and here it is. I'm a second generation driver,
Yeah.
but our culture is a whole lot different, compared to their community, their culture.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to compete with them. We're not trying to compare. You can't compete where you can't compare.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the way that she made that comment, it was like she made it sound like no one was going to clap back, and she didn't know the feedback that she got. It was the backlash, and here
Yeah.
it is. Like I said, I caught a strike behind that,
Yeah.
and TikTok took the video down. I appealed it like 2 days later. I'm still waiting on a review. Over a week later, they said, "We'll have a decision in 24 hours." I let it go because the word got out. You know, I
Oh,
wasn't
it
trying to
did.
go viral. I was just speaking from my heart
Yeah.
because somebody had to say it. Someone had to say it, and
Yeah.
that's the type of person I am. I don't bite my tongue. I
Hmm.
shouldn't have to. My father raised me as a man. I grew up in a two-parent household, two-parent Cuban household at that. You know how that is.
Of course.
You
Of
know,
course.
my father was the type of man, oh, si te pegan. If they hit you, you hit them back twice as hard. And
Hmm.
that's how I was raised. And she hit us.
Yeah.
She hit all of us because when she made that comment, I took offense. You know, someone had to speak up. And I understand in a sentiment that had it been a white Cuban
Hmm.
that had made that, that video, they would have labeled them the racists.
The
You understand
races.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They would pull the race card. Oh, look at this. That's why when I said it, a lot of people, the overwhelming support that I got that day. I mean, I didn't think there was that many Hispanics and Cubans in my out there on TikTok. They
Yeah.
all were in my DMs and flooded my over 20,000 comments alone. I couldn't read. I couldn't hit like fast enough.
Yeah.
I try to answer everybody, but that's what transpired on that one. And
Yeah.
then the other day, we seen this nonsense of what's going on in Cuba. But
Yeah, of course.
go ahead.
That's yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But I want to make this clear also because I don't want to make this. I mean, I know from our community, we don't want to make this an us against them or black Cuban versus USA Cuban. It's not that. It's just like, we need to have an all firm understanding where we all come from. And I feel as though when it comes to us, they don't have an understanding where we come from. Part of it could probably blame the dictatorship because as loud and vultures that we were or are, they silence us when it comes to our struggle and our oppression. And because
Definitely.
with Black Americans, they're proud of their blackness. They have a resentment towards America, which I understand because America did treat them like second class citizens. So I get it. I get it. But even through the trials and tribulation, um, they need to have some kind of proud and pride within their Americanness because your ancestors, the people that went to slavery, your Jim Crow, like they fought for them so they can make their life just a
They
slightly
forged
a
the
little bit
path.
easier.
They they forged the path.
Yeah, and
But
now whatever.
the thing is that here we are. Like I said, I've been in this country my whole life. I'm going to be 60 years old, and these last two generations have fallen by the wayside.
Yeah,
There was when I was growing up, black was beautiful. You know, and you and I, we were both. I mean, they look at you and I automatically. They think we're black.
yeah. We
Especially
don't
my
we don't have
name.
an accent. We don't be talking like these. Like Tony Montana, tú
No, no,
sabes.
no. I lost that long time ago, my friend.
Yeah,
Okay, I
you lost
lost
it
that
too,
long.
man.
When I went to kindergarten, my English no was
Yeah,
nobody good looking.
very
Okay,
good looking. Yeah,
I had to learn English in school. English.
yeah,
This is my second language. I'm addressing you in today.
yeah.
Okay, and here we are, 59 years later. And I've read a lot of books. I'm practically self-educated, but I did finish high school and all that other stuff, and because that I grew up in another era, in Gen
Mhm.
X. Where dropping out was not an option, especially for immigrants. Because
Mhm.
our parents came here to make a better way for us. You know, I was one of the first one. I'm the oldest of four brothers and a sister.
Yeah,
I went off to the Marines and all that. I joined the NYPD for a little minute.
yeah.
Growing up, I was a star in my neighborhood. Baseball. Us Cubans play baseball.
Of course,
And
of course.
I grew up with guys like Bobby Bonilla, Daddy Tartable, Benito
Okay.
Santiago. I played AAA for a while. I was scouted by the Mets at 17.
Oh wow.
And then the 80s came around and, man, Ronald Reagan threw crack cocaine in our neighborhoods. And
Yeah, yeah.
I dropped the baseball bat for a crack pipe. But
Damn.
that's a whole other story for another day.
Yeah.
But I've overcome that. I've overcome that. And I can honestly say today I am not ashamed of what I've went through. I went through the same trials and tribulations as Black Americans.
Yeah.
Because like I said, my name says Max Stewart, but they don't know that my last name comes from my grandfather who was Jamaican who went to Cuba to cut sugarcane.
Mm.
And yeah, you know the rest. The rest is history. you know,
Um.
he wound up over there, and that's how the Stewart name came in. And
Yeah.
but I am the first American, first born Stewart in this country. And unfortunately, my father's no longer here. He died a long time ago. But he would have loved to see the day where at least his country was getting freed. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Some semblance of freedom.
Some semblance. Yeah.
Someone's paying attention.
Yeah. It's crazy because I mean, I guess I'll get into it right now. You told me your grandfather's Jamaican. I had one of my homeboys who was Haitian, and he told me that his grandmother was Cuban, and she ended up going to Haiti. It's very interesting that we get
Okay,
that weird connection that somehow, somewhere, there's always a Cuban connection with each of the single islands.
somewhere,
Yeah,
somehow,
somewhere, right?
somewhere,
And I
somehow.
hear it
Yes.
more than Cuban. I never hear like a Trinidadian say like, I was in the Dominican Republic and I found out I have a Dominican grandmother, or I have a Haitian person. I found out they lived in Puerto Rico. It's always a connection with Cuba. That somehow, some way, you have somebody through the Caribbeans that they stay in Cuba, and and it's a Caribbean connection towards us, whether it's the the plantation fields or just something that they did that they got
Exactly.
connected there. What is
Exactly.
the um I guess with that being said, what is the I'll ask you this because one of the misconceptions I've been going to war with, when I started my podcast, you know, it's been again this misconception that Cubans, particularly Black Cubans, have this adoration with a dictatorship, or they have this thing with Fidel Castro that they thought that he was like our Lord and Savior, that he brought us like some kind of civilization thing. Do you have to go through that sometime in your lifetime when every time you have conversations with people with the dictatorship, and they have this thing that because you're Black and Cuban, you end up liking Castro?
I heard growing up, okay, that Fidel Castro, had a black nanny and something to that effect. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That he loved the blacks. This is
Yes.
what I heard growing up. All right, so this is I was constantly reminded about all that. But before the stories that my father told me during the time of Batista and the Bay of Pigs and all that, because my father fled right after. My father fought in the Bay of Pigs,
Oh, did
actually.
he?
And yes, my father did. My father fought in the Bay of Pigs.
All right.
And during that timeline, you know what I'm saying? My father was smart enough to realize that when Fidel came in, he promised change and all this other stuff. Because Batista was like, no better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But before all that time, Cuba was a very prosperous island. Remember, I heard somewhere Al Capone even used to visit Cuba.
Yeah, of course. That was like the
Okay,
mobster's paradise.
the mobster's paradise. Ernest Hemingway was in
Hmm.
Cuba, and in Malecon, and
Yeah.
all that. So Cuba had a lot of fine arts, and they had it going on for a long time.
Mhm.
Then Fidel came in, promised the changes, and what happened was he just hit a light switch and started taking everyone's properties, que se yo, que se cuando, and my father knew right then and there this was not going to work.
Yeah.
And my father got on the first thing smoking. When my mom pregnant at 17, ain't nothing.
Yeah.
And he took her away from her whole family and to a whole new country. And I guess the stress of all that, I was born the next day in Miami. Lucky for me, because one more day I would have been, Cuban citizen.
Yeah.
But I was raised Cuban. I grew up with rice and beans and everything Cubans eat.
Yeah.
That's how we grew up. I didn't learn English till I went to kindergarten. I had to put in ESL, English as a second language class. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
teased as a kid.
Yeah.
I was teased in, New York, well, up north. Kids
Yeah.
back then were brutal. We were brutal.
Yeah.
And my mom was a seamstress. My
Mhm.
mom worked for a factory. They used to bring the clothes to her at the house, and my mom would sit behind a sewing machine all day long,
Yeah.
you know, finishing up the final stitches, the garments and the suits and all that. And my mom used to make our clothes growing up, man.
Really?
And yes, yeah, my
That's
mom would
dope.
go to the fabric store and buy the patterns. A lot of people, I don't know if they have that anymore, where you could buy a pattern of a certain, yeah. And my mom would take our measurements and da 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 da. And my mom made all our clothes, man, growing up, and they weren't name brand. And like I said, kids were brutal back then when I was growing. We got teased a lot, but my father was a hard working man. He didn't speak much. My father was a man of very little words.
Yeah.
All right, because he was very, he was stern, disciplinarian, and I'm grateful for the man he was because it made me the man I am today.
Amen.
This whole new generation today is just they're soft.
Yeah.
They're soft. I
Yeah.
raised two sons and two daughters.
Mhm.
My oldest daughter just came home from the Marines.
Wow. Salutes.
And not every woman can make a end up be a Marine.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, kudos to her.
Yeah. That's
You know,
no
so man,
no
my
type of
youngest
nonsense.
daughter
That's
now,
great.
she's about to be 20. She's in corrections. She's in the
Okay.
academy right now for corrections.
All right.
So
Wow.
we're trying to be different. Not trying to be different. I've just raised my kids different. I've raised my kids the way my father raised me. My kids have had two parents in their household all their lives. No baby mamas, no baby daddies, none of that.
Yeah. None
So
of that.
I'm not
That's true.
saying us Hispanics are better, but we still have family values, traditions, and morals.
Yeah.
Everyone does too. Every other race does too. Like I said, I'm not condemning any other race,
Mm.
but the turn that the black culture has taken, it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for me. They glorify a lot of the nonsense. The rap music and all that. Every other song you hear today is about, you know, derogatory.
Yeah.
It's derogatory, and that's not the hip hop you and I grew up on.
Yeah. Of course
Okay,
not.
because I know you have a hip hop channel, and I grew up as a rapper. I rap.
Yeah.
You go
I
down
heard
my
some stuff.
timeline,
We're
you
gonna
might
get into it
find.
too. I heard some
All
stuff.
right,
Just
you might find me spitting a few bars, but
yeah.
I was
I think I
there when
might
it
need some.
originated.
Yeah, I think I might need some for the stage. So we're gonna talk about that later on. I think I might need something for
One
that.
day, Way, you never know,
Yeah.
man. I might kick
Yeah.
a freestyle.
Yeah. Probably.
I still write. I still write, but I don't perform anymore.
Yeah. I probably might need some of your joints to play at the stage. We're gonna talk later on that because I heard a little something there. A little something. Looks like I get a little
Okay,
flavor.
thank you,
No,
thank you.
no problem. One of the things you did on the video with Jemele Hill when you went in, and it was like a really no filter thing going on. But with Cubans, I did a podcast with Amalia the Czech that became a fan favorite. But when I did the episode with her, she talked about I talked about how the whole world is pretty much mad at Cubans because they voted for Trump, especially in the Latin community. And she said, you know what? As far as I could care less. You could be mad at Cubans, but you could get mad at Puerto Ricans, get mad at Venezuelans, get mad at Latin people. They vote a certain way, and maybe it might be a 40-60 whatever. Um, Latin people vote conservative. It's just Cubans we're loud with ours when it comes to our conservative views because of the stuff that happened in Cuba. And
I
you,
mean,
and you
come on,
yeah,
why would we want to? Why would they want to go back to what they're trying to escape?
yeah,
It's obvious. They can see what's going on here in this country and how the Democrats are moving here. It's
yeah,
ridiculous. It's a joke.
yeah.
It's a joke.
So yeah,
And these are people who come from oppression and a one party system. And these same people who just went to Cuba with their freedom of speech, a Cuban could not walk into that same building with Diaz Canel and
yeah,
voice their opinion without, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
Come on. And
yeah.
that what happened this weekend in Cuba was a hypocrisy. It was a joke. It was
Joke.
a slap in the face. 11 million people on the island. And as much as I hate to say it, it's always a white liberal woman at the forefront of stuff, thinking they know what's best for us.
Yeah.
But you have to live it, man. These are people who've never been through socialism, communism, never missed a meal a day in their life, never had to stand in a line for anything.
Yep.
But yeah, you come to an island and with ballet shoes and crackers, and from what I heard, they had kids dancing in the street from Hayatika. Come
Yeah,
on,
man.
bro.
Yeah, man. That shit made me sick to
I
my
seen
stomach.
the video. That made me sick to my
Yeah,
stomach, and
that
I'm
broke
gonna
my
do a
heart.
follow up video on that too.
Yeah, that was
Come
some
on, this is
bullshit.
not
That was
some.
some bullshit. Some bullshit.
What is this, man?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You claim you spent $500,000 in humanitarian aid, but you didn't bring no medicine. You didn't bring nothing. There's 11 million people on the island,
Mm-hmm.
and this is funded by billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is the best. It was a propaganda show.
Yeah.
What they did this weekend.
We know what it was. We know exactly what it was.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. But our people need to start. It's time for them. This is their time. We can do so much here on our side of the border, our
Mm-hmm.
side of the continent. Matter of fact, the country. But to the point that they don't take to the streets and rise up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't do it all for them.
Yeah.
And this is me as a voice. When I speak, I hope people forward that, forward my videos to Cuba. Mira este tipo Miami. Look, this guy in Miami speaking up for y'all. And,
Yeah.
like I told him, it's time. The time is now. If
Yeah.
y'all don't get up and fight back, America's not going to step into it like that. You know what I'm saying? We want to see that you need it. Y'all want it. I mean, this is 67 years in the making, brother.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Cuba since 1996. That's how long it's been.
Yeah.
30 years. And when I was going there, they still have rolling blackouts.
Yeah.
They wait till 4 p.m. when the people get off of work and you got to go home and cook a meal. Bah, se fueron las luces. The lights are gone, and me as a tourist. And I'm like, wow. And I was treated like royalty. And that made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Why? Because I I came from America. I had the best clothes. You know, I would come with a suitcase,
Yeah.
la mochila. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
El
Yeah.
gusano.
Yeah.
And when I leaving, I had cousins and all that. Yo, let me. And I would. My mom. The first time I went, my mom was like, "Nah, leaving." I was like, "What?" Because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I thought, I didn't know any better. My mom's like, they don't have that here, blah, 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 blah. Because the first time I went to Cuba, I was like 25 years old. 25 years old. I got to meet my grandmother for the first time,
Yeah.
my uncles, my aunts, my cousins. And, I came with all the fly stuff from Miami. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was trying to leave all this behind. But my mom talked me into it and it convinced me. And I made a lot more trips after that. I've been to Cuba like 13 times
Yeah.
after that. But and I knew then, they didn't have the access that we had,
Mm-hmm.
to the stuff that we get, and I get it now. I get
Yeah.
it now. And I knew the difference of what it was for me to be able to go to a store with my American dollars, and they would have to stand outside and wait for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. How do you people live like this? You know, I was the
Uh,
same guy running around in a rental van with a driver all up and down Cuban, and the women were just throwing themselves at me back to the 90s, just to
yeah.
ride around in the van, just
Yeah.
to be seen, para ir para la playa,
Yeah.
just a pair of panties, and this little stuff that I'm sitting back today, 30 years later, I reflect on.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm like, wow, here we are 30 years later, and yeah, it is time, bro. It's time. I would
Yeah.
love to see our people free.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things that we take for granted. I had a friend of mine on my show. She's from Cape Verdean, and she was a wild child, and she kind of changed her ways of the world, became very conservative. But she told the story how she went to Cape Verdean, to see her family, whatever the case may be,
Right?
and things that she saw that she never thought she would ever see, like people walking miles for clean water, you know, people just walking,
Exactly.
try to get a piece of clothing and some food, or whatever the case may be. People were just amazed that she was like living in America, and people was treating her like she was damn near Princess Diana, just the fact that she lived in America. And they'll tell her how the stores are like, how's the mall like, all this, what's Christmas like, little things that we take for granted. And she like,
Little
wow, it was
that
one
we
of those.
take for granted on a
And
daily.
and she
On
took
a,
a step back, like, yo, I gotta check my life out, man, because I'm taking my life for granted out here in this country. And meanwhile, I got like, if I don't have water, it's because I don't have the money to get it. You know what I mean? I could like,
we didn't
get
pay our
water
bill. We
or
didn't pay the
something.
bill. We didn't pay the
Yeah,
bill.
we didn't pay the
Exactly.
bill. Yeah, and they don't have it
That
because they
part.
don't have it. You
They
know what I'm
just don't
saying?
have it.
They just don't have it, let alone clean water. You know what
But,
I'm saying? So that's the part that
uh,
makes it really, really scary. Not scary, not appreciative of what you have. You know. So
it was a humbling experience for me.
very.
The first time I ever went to Cuba, and I'm thinking they have the same thing we have: running for water, normal plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, my family's in the outskirts of Havana, in
Mm-hmm.
Parraga. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so here with us, I had to take a shower. I had to take a bath with una cubeta de agua, with a bucket of water and a cup that my grandmother was kind enough to heat up
Yeah.
using the few charcoal. Because I was treated like royalty. But
Mm-hmm.
wow, I didn't realize what was really happening.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's up. So you gotta, use the toilet and wipe your ass,
Yeah.
wipe yourself with a 20-year-old newspaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wake up and wow, I was so ready to go to a hotel
Yeah.
back then because I had that, I had money.
Yeah.
I got money today too, but still, it was like, and my mom, it was a humbling, very humbling experience for me, my first trip. And finally, my second time when I was third, and so I figured it out. I figured it out. Like, wow, this is reality. And I've been a
Mm-hmm.
lot of places in the world. I've been in a lot of countries and so on. And as an over the road trucker, I've been in all 48 states.
Mm-hmm.
I've slept in all 48 states. I can not too many people can say that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was talking to you earlier when I was coming through Alabama. I'm now in Louisiana,
Yeah.
and who knows where I'll be tomorrow. But
Yeah. Go wherever
the
the
little
wind takes
things we take for granted,
you.
you know, they've never seen a McDonald's, a Wendy's, a Burger King, a Arby's, stuff that, they don't know what a hamburger is, and stuff that we look by every day and say, yo no quiero esta mierda. I don't want this jar. I don't want this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me go here. They don't have that option, man.
That's the option.
Imagine a free Cuba today,
Yeah.
with capitalism and, the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
The infrastructure would change.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
the investments that will come in there, and they can come in and be able to, little stuff when we go to supermarkets that we take for granted. How we can squeeze any fruit we want, any vegetable. Yeah, I'll take some of it. They don't
Yeah.
have that. You know how that is, bro.
Yeah.
They're waiting in a line to see what the government can give them. And as much as I hate to say it, most Cubans are vegan by choice, by force. There's no
Mm-hmm.
meat.
Me.
There's no meat.
Mm-hmm.
And we look at prices of beef today like, oh, this is too high. Man,
Yeah.
you know what the people do to have that same ground beef we just threw back?
Mm-hmm.
Buy a 1 pound pack of ground beef, a whole chicken. Little stuff that we take for granted, man. I had to sit back and analyze all that. Like, man, you know what? Our people are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad a change is being made, and I hope it happens real soon.
Yeah.
Real soon.
I had a friend of my mom's who came over here, I want to say in the mid 2000s, and he said he didn't have a chance to eat fish or chicken till he came to this country. All this time he been eating pork chops, just pork
Wow.
left, and then he finally came over here and had his first piece of chicken.
I had an uncle who went to prison in Cuba because he stole a cow and
Yeah,
slaughtered
dude,
it.
dude,
What? And fed the
yeah,
hood. And
yeah,
fed the hood. Did 6 years in prison in Cuba.
yeah,
Okay? And fed the hood. All right. So, yeah. Like I
yeah.
said, little stuff we take for granted on a daily.
Mm-hmm.
We think it's the same all over the world, and it's a reality check where everybody doesn't live the same. And for
Yeah,
when you get leftist liberals who can go to, the same with their privilege,
yeah.
these are the same people who can get, charter a flight, all right, first class,
What's that?
and all put on these pink shirts, and then y'all go to Cuba and do what? Sit up with Diaz Canel and clap like a bunch of trained seals?
Mm-hmm.
That ain't cool, bro. Then paint a mural, bring some ballet slippers, and you did nothing. This was a photo op for you guys.
And they milked all the little electricity they have left there. They gave it to those people.
Man, listen, they threw
All
a
the food.
rave party.
Yeah,
They threw a rave party till the
yeah,
power went out, and I heard people died in hospitals. They
yeah.
got blood on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same lady who did that thing posted a video. Oh, we're going back today. It was so sad. And we reached out to the people. No, you did not. You were not in the hood. You didn't mingle with the people in the darkness. Y'all threw a whole rave party, a block party for your bounce houses, bro. Where do you see that at?
Yeah, yeah,
Where do you see that at in Cuba?
yeah.
Bounce houses. Nah, come on, man. That
Ridiculous.
was a big show. It was a
Ridiculous.
political agenda.
Yep. So
So political, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And like I said, I did that other video that bothered me. It triggered me.
mm-hmm.
I would be glad because my passport's active.
Mm-hmm.
I send money when I can when my aunt calls me and a few years ago it bothered me because I thought it was because I had a thing about getting on TikTok and when I used to do a lot of my videos I would post a lot of cash blah 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 and la tía mía pero mijo manda 100 pesos and
Mm-hmm.
I was like yo what the y'all just think and it dawned on me and I didn't realize $100 of my $100 that I take for granted here go a long way over there.
Yeah,
So every once a month I try to send something.
yeah,
If it doesn't get taxed by the government and all this other, I haven't sent nothing lately in the last 3 months since the embargo. Not the
mm-hmm.
embargo, since all this stuff's been going on.
They
Because the
blocked it off.
embargo's been going on since Kennedy. Since
Yeah,
Kennedy. A lot of
yeah,
these people don't realize that. Okay,
yeah,
they think Donald Trump just did this the other day. No, he didn't. This has been going on since the Bear Pigs.
yeah,
Okay, and when they say, "Oh, an embargo does not stop medicine or food." All right, it stops the machineries and products.
mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. They think, "Oh, well, we're just being nasty, the blockade." No, that's not what's going on. All right, and why? When you get it there, the Cuban regime is going to take it all.
Yeah,
Nothing is going back to the people. That little 500,000 stuff. They said they had 6,500 pounds worth of humanitarian aid. What did you bring? Crackers?
yeah,
I haul that in my truck. I've hauled I've hauled 7,000 pounds of potato chips
yeah,
filled to the back door.
yeah,
I said that's not enough to feed 11 million people.
yeah.
Stop. It was a show.
It was
It
a
was
shit
a
show.
show to make these Karens feel good, pat themselves on the back.
And
That's all that was.
I'll go even further. Forget about the Karens. Like I said, my only when I do this show, particularly talking about Black humans, my thing is I call out like the non-whites, the ones that claim that they're the power to the people, the militants, the people that they think that they're giving a damn about our community. Those are the people I go hardest the most because one thing that the professor who I had on my show, she, you claim all this black solidarity and Pan-Africanism, but then you ignored all the trials and tribulations that black Cubans go in Cuba, and then you praise the regime that's oppressing us. So
Exactly.
where I sat with this is like, look, if you want to claim solidarity and support my oppression, that's not solidarity. You're supporting my oppression. So I have to go harder on you also because you're claiming,
You
you're my
have
brother,
to.
you're my sister, and then you're not only supporting that, you rather hide the truth and protect the lie than figure out what's really going on. So that's all the purpose why I have this show and I bring people with the likes of you and everybody else who've been black and Cuban and had a story to tell. So I greatly appreciate you coming
I,
through here.
I appreciate that, bro. Like I said, I've been, I was always considered different. I've been called all type of names growing up, right here by the same black community,
Mm-hmm.
black Chico, Spanish nigga, all
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm like, wow, but aren't we all supposed to be alike? Whether I speak another dialect or whatever, we all share the same skin color, but there's where the separation begins,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And the same thing, I've been looked upon in Miami by white Cubans. They've looked down their nose at me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I walk in the store
Yeah.
until I speak Spanish. Oh,
Now
the
you're
whole
safe.
attitude.
Now you're safe.
Ah,
Yeah,
now I'm
calm down.
safe. Now I'm in the
Now
safe
you're
zone.
safe. Yeah.
Now I'm in the safe zone.
Now you start. Yeah.
When I
Now you
walk in
start.
the
You have to
door,
talk like this now. You have to talk like this now. Tú sabes
yeah,
hablar así.
yeah,
Tú sabes
yeah,
chico hacer. You have to.
exactly. Yeah, now they feel a little, okay, because when I come in the store, coño, I'm 6 feet tall, 210 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. When I walk through the door and all my swagger and glory, all right, oh, mira este negro, están así mirando.
Yeah.
Y yo entro, I come in, buenos días.
Yeah.
Ah, pero tú hablas español. Pero ¿por qué no?
Yeah.
Estamos en Miami.
Yeah.
We're in Miami.
Yeah.
Ah, now you can see
I can breathe
wow.
now. Yeah.
Wow, and that I've dealt with that all my life by the same Cubans, white Cubans, like you said.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
it's we always been put in a very
In a whole nother category. A
whole category
box.
in
A
a very unique,
box.
a box in a very unique situation because now
Yes.
we're supposed to look a certain way also just to make people feel safe.
Yes, we're supposed. Yes, we're supposed to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And when we've been here, we've been here all our lives. We're Americanized.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're a Yankee hat, but I live in Florida. So what? I like the
I
Yankees. I like the Mets.
Los Yankees,
You
coño,
know,
los Yankees.
los Yankees, como dicen los dominicanos. Pero, it is what it is. That it's not till they hear what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That he's one of us.
Yeah.
Okay, he's one of the good ones.
He's
one of the good ones. He's one of the good ones.
If I had a nickel.
Every time I've heard that, he's one of the good ones. I'm like, wow. Especially when I come in a Cuban restaurant because I love my Cuban food. I love my food. Yeah. And hi, how are you? And passing me a menu. Can I get you, Mama, dame un menú? Ay, muchas gracias. Ay, mijo. And I know I know what I want already.
Yeah.
I didn't just stop it off the street random. Yeah. I'm not some random.
Yeah.
I'm not scoping out the scenery to lay you down.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man.
It is what it is, man. It's just like you take the good with the bad. You take the good with the bad.
And it's been like that for 59 years of my life, man. So I brush it off with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's all you can do. That's what you can do. Just get and try to form a union. That's what I'm trying to do. Just try to form a unit and just trying to find people who you could relate and connect with and try to find the same things you could find relatable. And
yeah, exactly. I'm glad I found you, brother.
Yeah, man. You know where to find me right now, man. I'm in Mass. So if you ever bring that truck
up to Mass, I come through Mass a lot, bro. I come through Mass, bro. We will hang out. We will do a TikTok on my channel.
We get to talking.
I definitely will. A video will be better than live in person.
100%.
I've seen your street interviews. Interviews.
Good looking out.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah. One of the things that you brought up, when you were on war mode, which is crazy.
War mode.
You were on war mode. Now, I liked it because it was like you said, "Fuck it, the gloves is off." You said, "Fuck it, the gloves is off." I was trying to have a podcast with a whole bunch of Cubans, and I had an episode called "The Empire Strikes Back," and it was just a whole bunch of Cubans that said that we had enough.
Wow, that was cool. I like that name. The Empire
Yeah,
Strikes Back.
the Cuban Empire Strikes Back. Because there's been a lot of people talking shit amongst our community, and I had people who I've spoken to, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're Cuban? Oh, you must have been a Trump supporter. Oh, you must have been a this person."
Ah, see what I'm saying?
And the same people that trying to combat bigotry and racism, they're the same ones who typecast individuals. And
yeah,
um,
unfortunately,
yeah.
unfortunately.
And the thing about it is, even if they were a Trump supporter, can we have a conversation on why things let the way they are? You know what I mean? Like, you know, can we have a conversation? Not only have a conversation. Um, let's say I'm not voting for Trump anymore. What are you gonna do to win me over? To say, you know what, I'm going to,
That part.
yeah.
What policy you got in place?
What policy you got? What do you got
What
to
do you
win me
got in
over?
place?
Yeah. Don't
What do
champion
you,
shit.
yes.
Don't champion shit for me you did 6 decades ago and use that as the turning point. Like you was both for me because I did. You know, it felt like fucking Al Bundy when he scored for a touchdown the single game. Like I did, like their glory years. You know what I'm saying? Don't mention me in glory years. So what are you
Definitely.
doing at this moment? You know,
What are you doing now? What are you
yeah,
doing now? What do you got for me today? And the
and
way this party has turned is just it's appalling.
yeah,
It's disappointing.
yeah,
And a
and
lot of these they don't know the history of the party.
yeah, yeah. But
They don't know
you
the
know,
history of the party. The same party they're bending over for, the same party that screwed them over for the
they,
last 60 something years.
and
When Lyndon B. Johnson said, I will have them voting a certain way for 200 years, he wasn't lying.
and it's funny because every time they go after Latinos, especially Cubans, like we vote for Trump, and they're clapback like, well, you voted for Trump, now he's supporting you, and then I look back, I'm like, yo, why is it when it comes to us, like your main concern, you think our shit is deportation, like that's all you think of us?
But
You
here's what
don't,
they don't realize: they don't. If we voted, we're Americans.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah.
duh.
Thank you,
Here's what
thank you,
doesn't sink in,
thank you.
and that's the deal. How I just voted. That makes me
Yeah,
an American citizen.
yes,
All right, it makes me an American citizen. I'm not going anywhere.
thank you.
You know, I had one guy who, when I did that thing with Jemele Hill, a guy named Nicky Manor. The guy, I don't know, you've seen probably on TikTok, blue beard, black guy, always fiddle faddle, blah. He did a clap back. I just blocked him and we used to follow each other. But he got offended by what I said about to the black community when I pointed out their flaws, you know, and why we stay away from them.
Yeah.
We're like I said, we are no better. I'm no better than no one on this platform or any platform, but I hold myself to a higher standard. I raise my kids to a higher standard. You know, it's a total difference. But he got offended. He told me I should go back to Cuba. Why? I can't go back to someplace I've never wasn't born. I was born here.
Yeah.
I was born here. Now I went to the military for this country. You know, I joined the police department for this country. I've done a lot of shit for this country. I move America every day.
Yeah.
In the truck. So what's the problem? But you got offended because of what I said. You know, in retrospect to Jemele Hill, because she was like I said, the comment was it didn't come from her heart. It was disingenuous and it was disrespectful. You know, like we don't know what to think.
Yeah.
Someone has to tell us how to move a certain way. And
Mm-hmm.
so on. No, we're smart enough to know. You know, like I told her, we've put out the most doctors, and so on. You know, but it is what it is. And we're not in competition with no one.
Yeah,
We just want
exactly.
to be left alone.
We're not in competition, and just to put a viewer discretion advice type shit. You know, we're not going after any community. We're just going after certain.
No, we're not.
That
We're
just
not.
speaking ignorant about us. You know what I mean? Because I love everybody. You know what I mean? I don't want that kind
I
of
love
problem.
everyone. I love everyone. I grew up with
It's
everyone.
Not a black Cuban thing. It's not a black American thing. It's not a black human thing.
It's none of that. It's none of that.
We need to have an understanding about our culture and understand where we're coming from and why we move a certain way that we do.
Why we move the way we move. Exactly.
And it's not everybody, because trust me, there's a lot of black American folks that gets me. They get my struggle. They understand my story. And every time I jump on TikTok, it's like, yo, what can I do to help you? I need to know more about the story. I don't know what happened. And unfortunately, nobody gives a shit about Cuba. We're not on the news like that, like with Palestine. We're not like that. We're not on the news like that unless you're in Miami. Then you're
unless you're in Miami, Telemundo.
You
know.
somebody in Nebraska is not gonna know what the fuck going on with Cuba. So
No, definitely not. Definitely
so
not.
a lot of people, and that could be this is when my conspiracy bug kicks in. You know, people that are communists and socialists like want that once that happen, because you know if they could keep as much minimum information as possible, they could keep the fuckery going in regards to what's going on in Cuba. That's my little
Exactly.
conspiracy bug. I might be wrong, I might be right, but as long as people keep,
No, you hit it on the head. You hit it on the head.
you know, as long as the people up north, in the middle America doesn't know what's going on, we could keep we could pump this propaganda. So, you know, again, we love everybody out here. We just gotta call out certain people because we don't like the way they're shooting shots at us, and we gotta address a certain amount of things out here. So,
For real.
um, another thing that you do, well, before I ask this next question, I gotta go back. What led you, because I follow you on TikTok, so that Jemele Hill was not the first video you've done as far as addressing things with Cuba. So like, what led to you to say like, you know what, I'm gonna drop little nuggets here and there to see like, you know, this is what's going on out here, because there's another video that you posted of this guy, and I'm trying, let's say he was you have him in his pin, you have him in his pin. He was fuck it, he was sweet, little sweet dude out
Uh-huh.
here,
Oh,
little
big
sweet,
man, big man.
yeah,
Ah,
little sweet.
yeah. I didn't like, yeah, that was when Charlie Kirk passed.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, he was talking about Candace Owens was next and
Mhm.
Blasey Squazzy, yeah. And that was another video that was, I caught a violation on. I appealed that one and they finally put it back up.
Yeah.
But, I went on, yeah. That's who I am, bro. I don't bite my tongue. My father, so I was raised, I was raised to be a man.
Yeah.
I don't care about feelings. I don't F your feelings, bro. All right.
Yeah.
I'm facts. I am
Yeah.
strictly facts, and that's what it is. If something irks something to me and it just triggers, I go in, man. I go in. And sometimes I might go in a bit too hard. I mean, the other day, some woman talking about, I love your message, but please tone your language. No, this is how you get the point across.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to curse to
You
let
gotta
them know
curse.
you're serious.
Yeah.
I can be articulate. I can be eloquent also. And,
Yeah.
I can talk, but then you think I'm soft.
Yeah.
But I got to bring the streets to you some
Yeah.
days. Yo, don't F with me. Leave me you know what I'm saying? This is how I'm feeling at this moment.
Yeah. Oh.
But I went in on Big Man that day too. Pause. you know,
Super pause. Super pause. That
super
motherfucker's
pause
pause.
on. Yeah, he's over here on this, doing this, holding a towel around like he
Like
got
a whole
boobies.
bitch.
Oh, hold up, Big Man. Come on, stop,
Yeah.
stop. And that just irked me.
Yeah.
You don't applaud anyone's death. We don't. When do we celebrate death?
No, never. That's some new shit. That's
Never.
some new shit.
That's some new stuff.
Yeah. And here's the
Chuck
thing.
Norris died the other day. I'm
Yeah.
just in the comments. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, wow. I
Wait,
grew
they
up
were
on Chuck
bashing on Chuck?
Norris.
They were busting. What did Chuck do?
Yeah, bro.
What the fuck happened?
Man, because he went from Democrat to Republican.
Oh, those fuckers, man. Since when their fucking opinion matters, man? Fuck them. Since when?
I'm watching these
Fuck.
young new Gen Zers and
Fucking,
millennials who didn't even know who Chuck was.
their fucking
All
pronouns
right.
and shit.
I'm glad he's gone. No, you don't, man. You listen. Stop, man.
Yeah.
We don't applaud death. We
Yeah.
celebrate that life. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do a few. I've saved a few pins to get back to these videos when I get a chance. But as time goes by, all right, that was a week ago, whatever. But it's the ones that get under my skin that really, while I'm driving, I will literally pull over and just do a whole video and rant and go off.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I
go off.
I see a whole bunch of videos, but if I go after every Harry, Dick, and Tom, I'll get exhausted. I only
and you'll
pick
get
the ones that
exhausted
really,
and you burn yourself out.
yeah, I only go the ones that are worthy. Like Jemele Hill was a worthy one. That was a real worthy one to go after.
That was that. Yeah. She just went too far.
Yeah.
Because like she went in too far, and then when she mentioned, especially the Cubans in Miami. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Whoa. What are you saying?
Yeah.
What are you saying? Oh, they gotta just mention Donald Trump, and they were so easily. No, man, we know better.
Yeah, exactly.
We know better. We're more educated. Not that I'm saying we're better than anyone. A lot of us have finished school.
And you know
a
what's
lot
crazy?
of us have,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You know what's crazy? When I saw the fucking video, I knew she knew what the fuck she was talking about, because she mentioned Univision and Univision and Telemundo. And you could, those two are the biggest like liberal news station that you could fucking find.
Liberal
But
news stations.
they're as left as they fucking come.
And
So
what I found that ironic was that this woman used to be a sportscaster for ESPN. Now you're a geopolitical analyst.
yeah, she got fired off of ESPN also. So, well, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but all of a sudden now you're a
Yeah,
political analyst.
yeah.
Nah, man, stay in your lane.
Pick a struggle.
Stay in your lane. Pick a
Yeah,
struggle. Here it is. Pick a struggle and fix it. And
fix it.
fix it.
You know. And I take it back. She didn't get fired. Her contract was up, and they weren't going to renew it. That's what happened with her.
They just because she was trash.
Yeah.
Basura.
Yeah.
She was
So
trash. So now
yeah,
she's got her own little podcast going and thought, she didn't think there are people like you and me or Cuban American who speak English, who understood where you went with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it hit a nerve. A lot of people can't express themselves as articulate and eloquent as you and I can.
Yeah.
Without their accent, without their broken accent. And like I said, when I did that, so many people came in with, muchas gracias, thank you for speaking. You said everything I wanted to say.
No, you when I saw that,
I wasn't trying to go viral. I was just angry.
Yeah. It is funny because I saw other clips and the other people, as a matter of fact, I actually do follow them. I actually talk to them online whenever I can with me. But when I saw you, I'm like, oh shit, my brother. Some brother talking to video. We out here. I know I'm not alone in this
bitch. Out here. We out here.
I'm not alone in this bitch. I knew it.
No, you're not, brother. No, you're not. No, you're not. There's a lot more in the wings right now who are trying to get that courage up to speak, man. And a lot of them are like, bro, you said everything I would know. Say what you got to say, bro. The more people see us out in the open, up front and center, they're going to fall back. And then something. I'm not the only one. You and I are not the only ones out here.
Yeah.
We can't be.
Yeah. I'll share two stories. One, I went to Jersey for a protest out there because they were protesting amongst what's going on in Cuba right now. It was a caravan, beautiful thing. I went with my mother, and she came with me. And we had this conversation again how we need to have like more of us being in the forefront when it comes to like this conversation, because unfortunately, even though there is people like you and I speaking among this, there is a part of us that wish it'd be more. That'll be more, talking about what's going on. Unfortunately, they don't do it because I hate to say a good amount of them want to go back to Cuba and send things to their family, or they still have that weird relationship, or they just don't give a fuck, or they do give a fuck, but they rather go to work. I When I went to DC though, when one of the biggest uprisings when they had back in 2021, I went there for 3 or 4 days, and it must have been a Saturday or a Sunday. But yo, when I say on that Saturday or Sunday, I saw people that look like you and I more than ever. Like I think we outnumber the whites, and that's something that I wish. Well, I got it on video.
Wow.
But we outnumber the whites. You know what I'm saying? And it was all over the place. And that brought a smile on my mother's face. That definitely brought a smile on my face because it was like, all right, finally, we're talking right now. All that shit that has the president finally opening our mouth. But I came a lot of elder statements. I'm talking about like my grandfather's age, and they told me a lot of tragic stories as to post like they wanted to come to the States. We're talking about 50s, 60s or whatever, but they were so indoctrinated on not coming over here because by now Cuba controls the narrative on what to watch, what to listen to, what music.
Exactly.
They control the narrative. So, and my mother went through this too when she came to the States. One of the fear factors they had of coming out here is because when you looked at America, they always looked at black people getting abused. So when they saw blacks in America, they saw the church bombings, they saw the Klan, they saw the dogs going after the kids, they saw Martin Luther King getting killed, they saw Medgar Evers, they saw Malcolm X. And from afar being a Cuban, like, yo, why the fuck I go over there for? I'll stick to this communist shit.
Exactly.
I'll stick starving than a white man beating the back of my head because I came to the wrong neighborhood.
My father was telling me the story when I was old enough to remember when Martin Luther King was assassinated. My father was in this country.
Yeah.
And my father barely spoke English, but what was going on with the riots and the protests, and and they were like, yeah, they thought my father didn't speak a lingua, his English was very broken back then, and they would look at my father like, wait a minute, you're not one of us? Wow, that type stuff.
Yeah.
What language are you speaking?
Yeah.
And that was crazy. And when I was old enough, my father told me he's seen all that in the 70s and the late 60s and 70s.
Yeah. And it was nuts because my grandfather, he was the one that told me the story, because he was going through his situation in Cuba. He went to jail, for saying his 2 cents on the system. And with the little information he got from America, because everything was so suppressed, he just said, "Fuck it, I'll take this ass whooping from the white man instead of getting this thing right now in Cuba because I'm starving. So at least if a white man beats me or shoots me, at
Yeah,
least I have food on my stomach and and be able to starve. I'll find a way to maneuver there." And he broke out.
definitely.
My parents and my grandfather were the first one to leave. They were I call them the Scarface babies. So they came out here. I'm in 80. And then my mom never told me the story till we went to DC. She went to a situation. She didn't know how to move. It was in Jersey. We're talking now in 80, 1980, 81 out there. So she told the story how she wanted to get her hair done, but she didn't know where to go to get her hair done. So she was hanging out with a whole bunch of Puerto Ricans. And she was like, "Yo, where do I go to get this thing or whatever case may be?" She's like, "Yo, go to this black salon spot right here. They get you right and take care of whatever." And the first thing they said, like, my mom told her, "Yo, like, what happened if, like, I'm in the wrong neighborhood? Like, the dogs will come after me. Like, do I have to run? Or what happened if, like, if the clan comes after me?
Wow.
After, you know, where do I run? Is there like some kind of survival tactics to survive the clan of these dogs?" And the Puerto Rico look at her, they pretty much laughed at him like, they haven't done this in the 60s. They haven't done this in the 60s. You're good
That
out here. You know what I mean? We got
that
rights
was
now.
the indoctrination, the
Yeah.
indoctrination.
And
What
mind you,
happens to blacks? Yeah, yeah,
and they showing the videos over and over and over again. They're still
yeah.
thinking they're going like that. So
When
this
they
is like
get here, it's like
1980.
that for real, and it's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
So this is 1980, 81, and she's still thinking you have to move like that,
Wow.
like some kind of Green Book survival.
No, 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 no. That's crazy.
So it's a lot of things going on, okay, maybe. So there's a lot of misconception and stories that people didn't get when it comes to like us coming down here. So, and my mom also said I sounded very convenient, when like the first round came, it was the quote unquote white elites, but then when her generation came and it was like the color looking a little bit different, now we were the criminals and the motherfuckers that came from the psych ward. It's very interesting how they put a certain way when we left out of here, but we just wanted what they wanted, but we got labeled as certain things like I'm gonna snatch your pocket purse or something.
That part. You walk past them and they're clutching, and they,
Mhm.
yeah, walk past a car and it's locking their doors, and
Yeah.
really, come
So
on, man.
that was, I mean, it got to the point that my mom
I'm
didn't tell me.
trying not to get robbed. I'm
Yeah,
trying not to get robbed out here.
yeah. It got to the point my parents didn't say, "Yo, what? Don't even tell me you're a maridito," because once you hear you're a maridito, it's like, oh, you're just like the worst. So they just say,
That
"Yo, we
was a
keep."
stereotype. Also, they claimed in the '80s yeah, the worst. I had an uncle came here in the '80s. So,
Yeah,
yeah, we had to get him from Wisconsin, I do believe.
yeah,
But he came in the '80s and through the Mariel. And according to Castro, it was like they let out the worst of the worst,
yeah.
to this country. And the movie Scarface didn't help us out too much either.
Yeah, I did it, but God, I love that movie.
No. Hey, I love that movie. I
I love
get
that
it.
movie.
I get it. Yeah. The accent was all off. Al Pacino,
Yeah,
he could have done better, but the
yeah.
accent was all off. But it didn't paint us in a great light either.
It did it.
Okay,
In retrospective,
but
you know what?
it's a classic. It's a
Yeah,
classic.
it's crazy because I had one of my boys in the podcast or whatever, and he's like, he wrote a book, and on the book cover, he's like, it's like the Scarface cover, but it's him being
Right.
Scarface. And
Okay.
it's funny because we talked about like our love for Scarface, and that's like, we talked about like that was the movie we used to watch with our dads. Like it was Sunday night, we watched Scarface. And then like, in retrospect, like I didn't know the history. Like I didn't know like they protest the movie in Miami. I didn't know that, they didn't want the movie seen in my like
They did. They did. They
they
did.
did
They
not, like
did.
the Cubans didn't
It
want
put
no
us in a
parts of that
bad
because
light.
it was so
They
controversial
didn't
and
want no.
because
No, the Cuban Americans didn't want no part of that.
they didn't want no part of it. I didn't know that. So
Yeah, it was
there was a
put
big
in. Yeah,
protest. There's certain scenes like, they had to cut it off and go somewhere else in Florida because, they didn't want that over there. But then outside of that, then I found out that the writer Oliver Stone, the dude that was behind it, like he
yeah,
was like
yeah,
a fucking commie, like a full blown
yeah.
commie. So then it was like, yo, do you do this thing with a weird double-edged sword? Like I'm gonna do this dope movie, but then I'm gonna do this thing just because make y'all look bad. It kind of fucked me for a few, because after everything was all said and done, he was in fucking Cuba like on a regular, kicking it with Castro
On a regular, yeah, definitely,
on a regular. So I'm like, shit.
definitely.
I mean, I still like the movie now, but I have like an asterisk now. Like, how do I have to appropriate this movie right now?
Yeah.
Because it came with some fucked up intentions.
Actually, the TV show Miami Vice went through the same thing in Miami. It painted Miami in a bad light. It damaged
Oh,
our
did they?
tourism back then. And yeah.
Oh, I
That's
didn't
why
know that.
they had to take it off there. Yeah, they made it sound like Miami was nothing but gangbangers, not gang, the big drug dealers.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Miami Vice. Yeah, Miami Vice went through the same thing. They went
Oh.
through the same, and I was an extra on one of the episodes of Miami Vice a long time
Oh,
ago.
word? All right.
Yeah, in a club and in a rap scene and shit.
All right, I gotta
I
check it
opened up
out,
for
man,
Dougie
because
Fresh.
I see your
I
profile.
opened up
I
for
see your
Dougie
profile.
Fresh.
What are some of the flex you were doing? Because I seen your profile between. I mean, you say you were at NYPD. You had a chance to be with the Mets,
Yeah,
and then I see your thing. You know, actor, rapper, crime fighter,
director, actor. Right.
director.
I am actually. I worked on a few YouTube projects. There's
Mm-hmm.
a thing on YouTube called Cases and Series. I've been on a few episodes of there, but I'm working on my own movie right now. It's called Undercover Sins.
You
It's
looking for some
based out of
actors?
Miami. Miami. Huh?
You looking for some actors?
I'm always looking for actors.
No, I mean, if you're looking for them, let
I'm
me know. I'm an actor myself. I got
I'm
a good
always looking
place.
for actors.
I got the.
I'm always willing to help somebody out.
Yeah, you let me know. I'll take that trip
Get their
down there.
break.
Whatever script you got for me, man. I'll fuck
That's
with it.
what's up then, bro. We'll make it happen then.
Yeah, I
We'll
got
make it happen.
I'm working a few flicks right now. I can't talk about it because I'm under contractual obligation. I'm not.
I'm working on another new flick too. I just finished a flick recently, The Life We Live. If
Yeah,
you looked at my bio back in September, you can scroll back to September. We in the Miami Film Festival.
bet,
We actually
bet,
won.
bet.
We won Best New Movie of the Year.
That's what's
But
up. Yeah.
nobody's picked it up yet. I ain't made a dollar off it.
Give it time. Give it
But
time.
I'm
Give it
working
time.
on my next project. And like I said, I'm an over the road trucker, and I'm coming home and I'm filming once a month. I got to get a whole crew together, and this is all out of my pocket. I
Yeah,
need investors, man. If
yeah,
I can
yeah.
find an investor where I can sit back and okay, I'm gonna take 2 months off and wrap this movie up finally, because the
No,
story's there.
yeah.
This is
No,
all I do when I'm sitting on I'm on the road 11 hours, 14, 11 hours behind the wheel. I'm in
yeah,
my head all day long
yeah.
by myself in my thoughts.
Yeah, look,
In my
listen, man.
thoughts, so and I'm writing scripts.
Yeah, listen, man. I'm doing this guerrilla style between my laptop, this mic, this camera thing. You know, I'm spending money in my own pocket. I feel you. Even with the radio station, I'm getting paid like no comment, but
Nothing, peanuts. No, yeah, I get it. I get it. I
no
get it.
comment. But you know what? When you have a passion for something, you know you
It's
will
a
enjoy
passion.
the fruits of your labor later on, man, and something bigger will be rewarded towards you. So you keep on doing what you're doing, brother.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But
send
yeah,
you some clips later. I'm gonna
yeah,
send you some
do
clips
that.
of my upcoming shit. Yeah,
Do
I
that.
got, I
Yeah,
got
man. So
clips. I got clips.
no doubt, man. Well, we got to do a part two, and you know, we get off of this anti-communist shit. And I see
Most
you.
definitely.
We'll talk about some regular shit, but we'll talk about some drinks or whatever, some movie flicks,
That too.
regular
That
shit, man.
too.
Because it's not just anti. I'm not a militant, crazy anti-Cubanist dude, man. I'm a regular human being. I'm trying to come back to that because last year I was a maniac with my fucking anti-communist shit. So I'm trying to come back to normal.
I hear that. I hear that. We got to
I'm
get
trying to come
grounded
back to normal,
sometimes.
man. But yeah, man. Thank you for taking your time, man. With the busy schedule, we gotta do a part
No
two.
doubt.
And you know what I mean? Keep your struggles on, man. And you know, hopefully, God willing, we're alive. We're gonna see a free Cuba.
Hey,
And
one day, yeah, definitely, definitely. And
hopefully
I'll be
coming.
filming live from there. I
Yeah,
will be on the
100%,
island filming.
100%. Oh, before,
Definitely.
yeah, and a final note too, because it was something I want to tell you that you made great sense of it. And one of my friends told me this when she did my podcast also. As far as Cuba doing their part protesting, um America's not obligated to save us. It'll be great to do their part,
No,
and retrospectively, I think because of what happened with the Bay of Pig, they kind of owe us on this one. But at the same time, they do not, they don't have responsibility to save us. At the same time, I know it's unfair to ask people in Cuba to rise up and do it because there's a lot of consequence behind that. But they have to do something to show an
dude, it's
upward and
11
defend.
million people.
Yeah,
11 million. We outnumber them. They're
we
outnumbered.
outnumber that. We outnumber that.
Okay, just rise up. I
And a
get it.
full,
They don't feed you to keep you weak.
yeah,
It's all a plan.
it's all a
You
plan and a
can't fight if
method
you're
thing to
weak.
fuck
If
with.
you got no food in your system, they know
Yeah,
that. Listen, the regime knows exactly what they've been doing for 67 years.
yes, 100%. So they gotta, stand up for something or fall for
They gotta
anything.
want it. They gotta
Yeah,
want it. They
yeah,
gotta let the world know they want it, and the rest of the world's gonna step in, man.
yeah. And we've done our part, either risking our lives coming over here, voicing our frustration to
Talking about it. and then
Yeah.
talking about it and all that. You know, we've been outcasted, we've been ostracized, and all that.
Yeah, and thank God for this thing called the internet, because now we could voice our frustration more than ever. You know, people
Definitely, we can be
in
heard.
Washington doing their part, so we're all doing our part. You know, I mean, I know people that are willing to go to war right now and ready to, like, you know, fight back for their country, whatever the case may be. Everybody's doing their part.
Hey, they can drop me across enemy lines, bro.
Yeah,
Put a sniper rifle in my hand.
every,
All right.
go off, partner, go off. Everybody's everybody's doing their part, but the Cuban people on the island, y'all got to do your part too, man. Just you got to
They
fight
got to
that.
do their part, man. When we see them, they se
Yeah,
cansaron.
yeah,
Okay, now,
yeah.
now,
So now it's on.
you know,
Now it's on. And to their
now it's
defense,
on. We hear you. We hear
yeah.
you.
And to the frustration, I mean, they have been protesting for the last 2 weeks, man, and hopefully they're still going on and strong.
Yes,
And
they have. It
to
needs to
their
get
defense, they
stronger.
finally
They
doing it.
need more people.
Yeah, they need more people. We need
They
just a
need
little
to.
bit
We
more.
need more.
And
A
don't
little
stop.
bit more.
I guarantee you, if they do this straight for like a week or two, they'll be out.
The news have to pick it up. They have to
Yeah.
pick it up. All
So
right, because this news is one sided. You
yeah,
know it is liberal based. They
well,
only post what they want you to see, well, just to paint our president in a bad light.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
oh, look what he wants. He wants to do. No, he wants no. Donald
yeah,
Trump is doing a great service to this country right now. All right, he is
yeah,
freeing countries.
yeah,
Why should we be the only ones free
exactly.
and the rest of the world's oppressed? No,
Exactly. Yeah,
you know,
100%.
he's on a higher calling, bro. This is
Mm-hmm.
not about his ego. It's not about none of that, man. You know, I honestly believe this man's been touched. He's been anointed. You know,
Hey,
we might be in the last days, brother.
hey, well, not even now. I'm still being optimistic because we still got Marco Rubio, and you know this is really Marco Rubio's doing, because this is personal for him. You know, this is personal to
Yeah, it
what happened
is.
with
It
his
is.
family.
It is.
So I think it. I mean, Trump is doing this thing, but I think it's more like Marco Rubio putting the foot on their neck and playing chess what he's doing, and say, like, you
Well,
know what?
he needs to make it happen, man, and make me
Yeah,
go be chief of police in Cuba or some shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, man. All right, back, man. So thank you for coming through, man. We'll definitely gotta do a
I
part two.
appreciate you having me, brother. We're
Definitely, man.
definitely.
Yeah. This your boy Cuban Mike. You listen to the Ruckus podcast in collaboration with the Tape Deck, man. And I'll catch you next time, man. Same Tape Deck time, same Tape Deck channel. I am out of here. Peace. Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.